Hello, my name is Libby. I'm a master Reiki practitioner and I'm very interested in earth energies after my own healing journey. And I've decided to make a video at the moment because we are celebrating the equinox. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, about the equinox as I understand it, because I'm learning as I go. A little bit about nature, a little bit about the Chinese energies and how they actually quite relevant to um, our own, how do we say, our own environment. And also, what I want to do is bring this back to how we fit in, because I think we've lost that. I think we've sort of lost how we're part of nature as a human being and what that means. So I'm going to do that. So if I just start quickly, so my name's Libby. I'm interested in energy since I started having experiences of being a lot more sensitive to energies around me. So other energies of other people, energies in the planet, earth energies, particularly at sacred sites, which I'd never experienced before. And it got me quite curious. So I decided to study Reiki so that I have a set way to sort of tune in and channel the energy for my own self and to help others as well. So there's details on my website, which is linked somewhere around this recording. If you want to contact me for a session, that would be great. But just right now, I think I'm going to tell you about the equinox. So the equinox is the transition time between winter and spring, more or less. So what it actually means is equal night. So the word equinox, equi is equal and nox means night. It's a Latin name, Latin word. And what it actually means is if I show you this, and we'll pretend that this is the Earth, and this is the North, and this is the South hemisphere of the Earth. What it actually means is that the sun is kind of making its trajectory. It's actually staying quite still, but the Earth's tilting and moving like this as it goes round in an oscillation. Well, right now, the sun is pointing right at the equator. So remember, if we say that this is the north and this is the south, then the sun is actually there. So we're 50% of the way into summer. We've left winter, where the sun will have been down here in the northern hemisphere, and we're heading into summer, which will be up here. Now, just to orientate ourselves, obviously, if you live in the southern hemisphere, you have had summer and you're now heading, it'll be autumn and you'll be heading into winter. So you'll be at it'll be an autumn equinox for you. So for us, this is the spring equinox that we're celebrating. Um, okay, so I was kind of looking at what that means in terms of energies and things, and I was kind of getting this feeling of where we are. So if we remember about the planet, we've got half of it in the light and half of it in the dark. And it's actually quite funny. I'm the opposite way around how I've just done the demonstration. I probably should have done the sun at this side because I can see that I have light on this side because I'm near the window and dark on this side. And I thought that was quite amusing. It amused me anyway when I sat down because I didn't plan that one. Um, and so it just got me thinking a little bit about that. Just have a pause and have a think about that for a moment of what that's like. So we're half in the dark and we're half in the light. So we've spent the winter time probably turned a bit more inside, as it were, because it's dark and we can't go out. So so we're with our thoughts a bit more. We're with our own inner world, and then we're just about to step out into the summertime, which is the light, which is a very outward expression. And I've read these things and heard these things before, but it's only really when I've been looking this up and really stopping to think about it that I've really understood what that means and how all these other things are useful to bring us back to really understand how we are, where we are on the planet and in the whole scheme of things. So if I look as well, we've got the left side and the right side, and I've probably got that the wrong way round for the light and the dark traditionally. But the left side usually symbolizes the dark, and it usually symbolizes yin or female energy, and the right side symbolizes the light and movement, active energy, male energy, active energy. And that's exactly where we're at a transition of, because if we look at the Chinese symbols, we're traditionally moving from a time of water into a time of wood. And water is very much about emotions and about how we feel about things. Whereas wood is more active, it grows, it does things, it's versatile. Well, so the other interesting thing is that the two of them go together, water and wood. So we have wood, in order to grow, needs to put a taproot down and then pull the energy up. So we've got kind of grounding, really needing to grounding. So I don't know if you can sink down or imagine sinking down, pushing down as far as you can, and then drawing up from the earth. So this is the wood energy, and where we've come from is rain, so much rain pouring down and then filling up and causing flooding. So it's kind of they're very similar, and they kind of interact together really well. And also, if you look at the purposes of them as well, water is largely for cleansing, it's for drinking, it's for kind of like bringing in nourishment to the body. And wood is active, it's growing, it's doing things, it's putting out branches, it can also be used for things. I mean, we can make things. The furniture behind me is made out of wood, the chair I'm sitting on. It's got quite a lot of versatility, and it's active, it's energetic, it's getting out there and doing something. So what I also want to look at is being real about where we are, and that's what I said at the beginning. Normally, the winter time for us has been a time where we're frozen solid. There's snow around. The earth is hard, and it's slippery. It's kind of, we can fall, we can slip. But the coldness hasn't been quite as cold as it should have been. And so we've ended up with a lot of flooding. And we're actually in a place where we have flooded, saturated ground, which needs draining. And there's possibly a lack of nutrients in the soil from them being constantly washed away with complete rainfall, instead of being held hard by the ice. And then there's a flow and a release. It's kind of, it's probably washed quite a lot away. I mean, if the land is flooded, then a lot of microbiotic creatures that we need to support healthy plant growth will have died and drowned basically in the water. So that's where we're at. And now we've got to, from here, learn to grow. So my kind of feeling is that we probably need to be doing some exercises to bring our bodies, our minds, and our emotions back into balance. And again, if you want to contact me for a private Reiki session, you can do that. I can do distance healing as well if you're far away. And Reiki can help with that. It can bring us back into flow and harmony, boost our resilience, energize us, and basically bring us back into mind, calm, clarity, so that we can make good decisions before we move forward. I want to look at where the body fits in. So some of it we've already covered, but if we kind of look at that, we are a mass of water, blood and bone, basically, muscles, sinews, all this kind of thing, and then organs. And there's a lot of water that transitions through the body. And chi which is the life force energy that Reiki is all about, is thought to be pumped through the body by the heart center, which pumps the chi around the body and gives us energy. It takes anything that we don't need out away through the veins, and it pumps good energy through the blood in the vessels. It can move through us through osmosis, through membranes. There are many ways that it kind of does its thing. We have to hydrate our cells as well, so the cells sort of like take in what we want, and also through the digestive tract, through drinking water, in order to allow the nutrients in the body to be able to move around the body. We have urine to take it out again, and mucus to help stools move or come out through sinus or tears, or any other way for our saliva in our mouth to be able to eat our food and digest it. So there's a lot of water in there. Wood is more about taking in the elements. If you think about a tree, so it kind of, in order to grow, it has to, like we say, put the taproot down and then draw the energy of water up into its body in order to take life and to grow and to expand. And the organs associated with water and wood, water is the kidney and the bladder, and wood is the liver and the gallbladder, and that's. Now, emotions are associated a lot with water, and so emotions can kind of get a bit out of control. If we're too flooded, we might feel overwhelmed, and we need to drain some of it off. We need to drain off the emotion, shift out of our moods. We might be stagnant. I don't think in this year that's kind of what I see around me. I don't see stagnant water, but there might be stagnant energy if you've been inside and you haven't been moving. And the transition into spring, into the wood energy, brings a lot of movement. It's got a more of a warmingness about it, and it's about being active and doing something, just like the tree. It's got to grow its trees, its branches, everything. So that kind of like puts it a little bit more in context of the emotional side. And the mind is, well, basically, if you can imagine the overwhelm that you get from too many rushing around, it needs to be quite clear and centered. And so if we come back to the idea of the equinox and the planet and where it is, what I really think is most beneficial for us to do is to come right into our center, to our heart, and just rest there a moment. So it's kind of before we move anywhere, to just come by here. So I'm going to put together some meditations so that we can experience how to use these transitional elements to bring us back into harmony. And as a challenge for the end of this video, because we're finishing with water at the equinox, I would like to suggest that there's something that you can do to have an experience of energy for yourself, because I'm an energy practitioner, and that would be to literally hold your hands under some running water just for as long as you can, for a few minutes, and just feel the energy of the water hitting your hands for a while. And then when you've finished, come away, dry them off, and just feel what your hands feel like, just to get an experience of that you are an energy body. Okay, and so I hope you've enjoyed my little exploration about the equinox. Again, if you would like to have a session, and please contact me, and keep the eyes open on my website for workshops later this year. So I'm going to be in person delivering workshops around the region, and I'd love to see you. Okay, so happy transitioning.